I finally get to live in my favorite city, New York. After months of scrolling through Street Easy listings, I finally found a studio that felt just right, with a layout that works for me and still under budget. But now that I have the keys, the real work begins. Unpacking, organizing, and making this place feel like home. Here's everything I got done in the first 48 hours of moving in.
Hello, and welcome to my new studio apartment in New York City. I just moved in today, and the moving people helped me move in all of my furniture. And I was lucky enough to have my parents around to help me set up little things in the apartment and unpack some of the big stuff. But I haven't started unpacking any of my boxes. As you can see behind me, I have a huge pile of clothes that I still need to put in my closets and drawers. Right now, my apartment is pretty messy. I have stuff all over the kitchen, and there's barely enough room to walk. So I'm gonna take you along with me as I organize my new studio apartment. Let's get into it, because this is going to take a while. I'm starting off by organizing my clothes. I packed my clothes in 2 big suitcases and 1 small suitcase. I didn't have room to keep the big suitcases in my apartment, so I had to quickly empty them so that my parents could take them when they left. So that's why my clothes are just sitting in a pile on my bed. Right now, I'm sorting my clothes based on type, into tops, sweaters, pants, dresses, and jackets. I'm also dividing them based on which ones I want to put in the drawers and which ones I want to hang in the closets. I usually hang jackets, dresses, and my business shirts to prevent wrinkles. Everything else goes into the drawers. For the clothes going in the drawers, I'm folding them neatly so it will be easier to stack later. As for the clothes going on hangers, I'm just throwing them to the side. Thankfully, this part didn't take too long because I already folded and somewhat sorted my clothes when I first put them in the suitcase. I also used packing cubes, which helped compress my clothes in the suitcase and kept them organized. So I just finished organizing the clothes in the first 2 suitcases, and now I'm going to put them in the drawers. The first drawer I'm going to do is for my casual jeans and pants. To save room, I'm rolling them up and placing them horizontally, tight enough to fit, but still slightly loose so they don't get wrinkled. Then, I'm making a drawer for my tops and thinner sweaters. I had some extra room, so I decided to put some of my folded business clothes, such as my pants, skirt, underblazer shirts, and vests. I'm saving the bottom drawers for my heavier items, such as sweaters and sweatshirts. The left side, I'm putting my thicker sweaters by stacking and rolling them. And on the right side, I'm just putting my casual/athletic sweatshirts. I had some extra room in my pants/jean drawer, so I filled it up with my basic t-shirts and tank tops. Next, I went back to my bed and placed the rest of my clothes on hangers. I'm using these black velvet hangers from Costco because the material prevents clothes from falling off and they look nicer than plastic ones. The hooks also turn all the way around, which I like because I can easily make sure all my hangers are facing the same direction. A tip for hanging clothes with small neck holes or ones that are already buttoned up is to slide the hanger in through the bottom. That way, you don't have to risk stretching out the neck or wasting time unbuttoning or unzipping. Now I'm hanging them in my closet, and I generally like to organize my jackets from biggest to smallest, or most warm to least warm. In my second closet, I'm hanging the rest of my business clothes, including shirts, dresses, and blazers. After this, I still had 1 small suitcase left, so I just repeated the same process. I'm putting my summer clothes in the top drawer. I like to fold them into small rectangles and then stack them in front of each other. This way, when I'm choosing an outfit, I can see all the tops that I have. And on the side, I'm putting my shorts. Now I'm just filling out the closets again with the rest of my clothes. On the closet door, I put these over the door hooks from HomeGoods, and I'm using them to hang my accessories and bags. And now, it's time for this room of boxes. So my living room is actually looking okay for now, but everything that I haven't unpacked yet just ended up in the kitchen. So we're gonna need to fix that. I think the easiest way to go about this is probably to take everything out and put them in each area where they're supposed to be. And then we're gonna organize those areas individually. So let's go ahead and do that. The first thing I'm doing is opening up my drop leaf kitchen cart to have more surface area. I actually didn't know something like this existed until I saw it online, but it's a great solution for saving space if you have a small kitchen. In these boxes, I have a bunch of miscellaneous items such as kitchen supplies, bathroom supplies, etc. As you can see, I'm walking all over my apartment to drop off each item in the area where it belongs. In one of these boxes, I have all my shoes. For now, I'm just throwing them in a closet to organize later. I just wanted to get rid of the box to make more room in the kitchen. I also have a box just for my dishes, so I'm just unpacking and placing them on the counter. I stocked up on sauces from the Asian supermarket beforehand as well, so I'm putting them on the counter too. Now, I'm unpacking some of my appliances, including my rice cooker and air fryer. I think these were the only 2 appliances I bought new. The rest are already unpacked because I'm reusing them from college. Okay, so I emptied out all these boxes. Now I'm just gonna break them down so I can take them downstairs before it gets too dark. To break down the boxes, I usually cut the tape off the flaps, open it on both sides, and then flatten them. I had 3 big boxes to do and then a few smaller ones. This didn't take too long, but I ended up with quite a bit of cardboard. So I flattened all the boxes and took them down, and that was pretty tiring because there were a lot of boxes. But now that they're gone, I feel like we've made good progress. Now I just have a couple of small boxes left, and I gotta organize the kitchen, the bathroom, and my shoes. So let's keep going.
In the first closet, I'm putting all of my sneakers and business shoes. I bought this gray shoe tray from IKEA to catch the dirt from my shoes when I take them off, so I'm just placing that in the closet, and then stacking 2 foldable IKEA shoe racks on top of it. Then, I started placing my shoes on each level. As I was putting my sneakers away, I realized the shoe tray was actually taking up too much area on the closet floor, so I took it away. In the other closet, I'm putting the rest of my shoe boxes. I decided to keep the shoe boxes for my boots, such as my Uggs, Doc Martens, and snow boots, since I'm not going to be wearing them in the summer, and this will prevent them from getting dusty.
Okay, so I took out everything that I need to put in the kitchen. We just need to do it now. I think I'm gonna start by putting together my steel rack so I can stack all of my big appliances on it, and then we'll get into the smaller things.
I bought this 4-tier steel rack for $35 on Amazon. Since I only have some counter space, I decided to place all my appliances on the rack and then take them out as I need. It's a little annoying, but I'd rather have the extra counter space than filling my counter with appliances. After unpacking all the pieces, I'm just reading over the manual to make sure I'm not missing any pieces or tools. Now I'm building it. Starting with the first tier. Am I the only one that kind of likes putting together furniture? I mean, it's frustrating if you're missing pieces or can't figure out what you did wrong, but it's really satisfying when you can complete all the steps smoothly. To me, it kind of feels like a puzzle, but you actually get to use it at the end. It was going fine until I realized my shelves were not spaced evenly. The instruction manual didn't actually specify where each shelf should go, but I guess that's what makes it adjustable. Still, it was bothering me, so I took it apart, making sure to count the rings on the steel rods so that the shelves were evenly spaced this time. After finishing building the rack, I'm placing these plastic shelf liners on each shelf to cover the gaps between the steel bars so the appliance lights don't get caught. These plastic liners were $20 for 5 sheets on Amazon, which I feel like is pretty expensive for just sheets of plastic, but honestly it's the cheapest one I could find that fit my shelves. They were rolled up in a tube when I received them, so that's why they're curling up and not lying flat, but they flattened out pretty easily after putting some weight on them. On the top shelf, I'm putting my cutting board, pan, and pot so that they're easily reachable. And then I'm just stacking the rest of my appliances, including my rice cooker, air fryer, toaster, toaster oven, and microwave. This microwave was actually pretty big and heavy because I took it from my house, so I think I'm actually going to give it back to my parents and get a smaller one because it takes up too much space and I don't need that big of a microwave anyway. Next up is my cabinets. Here I'm putting away my plastic wrap, Ziploc bags, seasonings, and dishes. Finally, I'm folding away my kitchen cart and pushing it to the side.
So the next thing we're gonna do is the bathroom. Now my bathroom is pretty small, so there's not as much stuff to do as the kitchen, but let's get started on it.
To have more storage in the bathroom, I bought this 2-tier over-the-toilet rack with suction cups. This was $23 on Amazon. The suction cups were actually pretty strong, so the rack seemed really stable with no risk of falling over. For me, I'm just placing my makeup, skincare products, and hair accessories on the rack for easy access when I get ready in the bathroom.
Okay, so I unpacked, for the most part, all of the big boxes. I just have a couple of small boxes left, which I'm gonna do off camera and then show you tomorrow what everything looks like. I think the plan for tomorrow is to take a note of what I need, and then we're probably gonna go to Target, maybe go thrifting, and then do a final reveal of what my apartment looks like. So I'll see you tomorrow. So it's the next day. Yesterday night and this morning, I finished up unpacking all of the smaller items. I'm pretty happy with how this turned out now that I have all of my big furniture in here. I realized that this apartment is actually bigger than I expected. Of course, I poured it before I signed the lease, but I didn't realize I would have this much room left over. Also, when I moved in, I realized that the ceilings are really high. As I'm talking, I can hear my voice echoing in this room. And also, when the movers moved all of my furniture in, kind of felt like my furniture shrunk because these ceilings are way higher than the ones that I have in my house. Overall, that's pretty nice because it makes the space feel bigger, but I did end up with some empty corners to fill. I'll probably go to Target, maybe do some thrifting, and also get food because my fridge is pretty empty right now. Okay, so I just got back from our shopping trip today, and I'm gonna show you what I got. So the first place I went was the thrift store. I bought this circle wood bowl for $9. I thought this would be nice to put on my kitchen divider. So I had a place to drop my keys and my wallet, so I remember to take them with me every time I leave the apartment. It's also made of wood, so I don't have to worry about it breaking if it accidentally falls off, and it matches the rest of my kitchen, so that's always a plus. The second thing I got from the thrift store is this long glass tray. So I thought this was nice because it has a leaf pattern on the bottom. I wanted to use this to put some of my seasoning containers as well as my oil containers, just to put everything on a single tray so it looks neater and it's not just individual containers lying on my counter. After the thrift store, I went to Target. So the first thing I got in the front of the store was this nice flower looking spinny container. I thought this would be nice to put maybe on my dresser. And what I like about this is that each petal is a different height, so I can put things of different sizes in it and they won't fall over. Also, it just spins. This was $5. Next, I just got 3 soaps. 1 for the kitchen, 1 for the bathroom, and 1 extra. I also got 2 hand towels for the bathroom. This was only $3. Now, to be honest, I had a lot of things on my list when I went to Target, but I didn't find most of it because I forgot how small Targets in the city can be. The one I went to was pretty sparse and it had a lot of empty shelves. I'll probably buy the other things I need online, or I'll see if I can do store pickup at another Target. The last place I went to was another thrift store. I got this flower placemat, I believe. I thought the design was nice. I was thinking I could put some of my sauces on top of it and then the long tray that I bought from the other thrift store on it to help organize my kitchen counter a little bit better. This was $2. And the last thing I got at the thrift store was this big bowl. I like this because it has the leaf design and I feel like flowers and leaves is kind of a repeating pattern in my apartment, so I thought it would match. And it's only $3 as well. I think I'm probably gonna put this on one of the shelves on my end tables and I can use the bowl to organize items that I end up collecting over time, and it'll look a lot nicer. So that's all for what I got for my shopping trip today. So I'm going to put these items where I want them, and then I'm going to show you a final reveal of what my apartment looks like.
This is what my apartment looked like before, and this is what it looks like now. Overall, I'm very happy with the layout. I was able to fit everything I needed with space left over. There is still a lot of decorating left to be done, but for now everything is at least organized. I still need to put up curtains, maybe some wall art, and go thrifting a couple more times to collect some unique decor items, but it's much better than having boxes everywhere. I'm really excited about this apartment because it's exactly what I was looking for within my budget, and it'll be the first time I'll finally have full independence over my living space. Even though I could probably get a larger apartment for a lower price outside of Manhattan, I think this amount of space is just enough for me. Of course, it'll come with some minor inconveniences, but I'm sure I'll be able to make it work. We're off to a great start in New York City.
Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video about moving into my New York City studio apartment. If you want more videos of smart living, organization, and figuring out adulthood, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. I'll be posting a full apartment tour once I have everything decorated, so make sure to stay tuned. If you're also going through the moving process, leave a comment below about your experience, or just let me know what other apartment content you want to see. That's it for now, and I'll see you in the next one.